Welcome back to another episode of Ballroom Chat, the podcast dedicated to sharing the dance journey. I'm your host, Samantha with Love.Live.Dance. Today I'm joined by Boyko Ivanov. If you are in the dance industry, especially the competitive industry, you already know the name Boyko. It is tied to Boyko and Co, hair and makeup extraordinaire. I had the opportunity to sit down and chat with him about how he got his start as a ballroom dancer and how, luck would have it, he found his passion in the hair and makeup artistry industry. We also talked about finding your inner beauty, how to feel confident and powerful on the dance floor, and how to avoid copying trend styles and find your own statement when it comes to your individual look for competitive or performance dance. So please enjoy my conversation with Boyko. Well, thank you, Boyko, so much for being a guest on today's podcast.
Thank you for having me.
So most people, I feel like, in the industry know you. You are intertwined now, I think, forever with hair and makeup at a very high level for dance competitions. But something that I actually discovered when I was doing a little bit of research for today's conversation is that you were actually a dancer in 10 dance and a teacher for a number of years before becoming the makeup and hair artist that you are today. So can you talk to me a little bit about how your ballroom dance journey first began?
Oh, I'm still a dancer. I just dance different ways. Sometime on the table, sometime under the table, depends on the event. I'm still a dancer. I'm kidding. Yes, I do have a dance background, and that's how I become hairstylist in the dance industry, not somewhere else. Just because I love the dancing and as competitive. So my story starts many years ago when I was 10, 11. I used to live back in my country, and I will never forget. I was this child which is trying so many different activities, everything possible, from taekwondo to basketball to the piano, whatever. You see any activities, I've been there. And one day, there was a Russian teacher coming to Bulgaria, and they was teaching in a studio in a city next to my town. And they decided to open one more club, which is dancing studio in our town. And they did this concert with the couples from the origin of the big club, and to promote. So it was for free, and we went everyone to see it. And I really liked it. I liked the dancing, and I went back to home and I asked my parents, can I join the ballroom dancing? And they say no. No, you can't. You've been trying so many different things, and you're not serious, you're not consistent, you always give up. We spend so much money for different classes. No, it's forget about it. We're tired already from your trying. So I was a little bit disappointed, and of course I did it as every child doing from the mom. I went to the father with the same question, and the father say, "Go ask your mom." I was like thinking myself, I've been there, it didn't work. Anyway, I give up a little bit. But fortunately or unfortunately, I don't know what is the right word to say, my mom's friend's daughter want to dance. And one of the things they was trying, of course, to get more boys, as usually in ballroom dancing, it's a little harder from beginning with the boys. Her daughter really want to dance, but she didn't have a partner. So they asked, like my mom, if I want to join it. And kind of was good for me in a way because I want to join it. And but I really was serious to try, and I said, okay, I'll dance with her. And that's how I started. And I danced with her not long, because after a couple of months I was proposed by a blonde and skinny and beautiful girl, and I broke up with the other one. Very easy. That's how I start my dancing career, and we start dancing together. Then I switched later for a different partner, with which was a little bit longer time, let's say, to the end of my dancing career. So overall, I didn't have many partners. I think one, two, three. The fourth one was the last one.
Okay.
So yes, that's how I started on early age with dance.
Nice. And that was amateur 10 dance that you were dancing at the time? Or were you specialized in one of the styles?
We in Europe, yes, yes. We in Europe, always when we start, we have to dance tendance. And we have a different, like it's called like a class categories. The way here is like, for example, like you have a juniors, same things, kind of, yeah. But then except the age, we have a different, like in America, you have a bronze, silver, gold, yeah.
Mm.
In Europe, we have their qualifications like D, C, B, A, and like A is the highest class, and then M is like an international class. That's when you compete everywhere, amateur. This is in amateur category, yeah. So we started with D, and in D and C class, you have to dance tendance, must.
Okay.
And the competition is for tendance. It's like you're doing Latin, you're doing standard, and then whatever by the results after the competition depends on the placing and the couples. You're getting points. And when you collect certain kinds of points, you're going to the next class, let's say C. And after C, when you go to B, in the B already you have the choice to qualify to go Latin standard or keep it tendance. Myself, when I went to B, I was continue dancing tendance, and then easily we become A. But somehow, again, the same point system, but now you're qualifying. Let's say you can start be in a Latin, but become A in a standard. So already it's like a different qualification. Somehow my standard was going faster and better results. But in general, I managed to get same a little bit later in Latin. And I've always been thinking I'm Latin dancer, but actually my results always been better in standard. So until the end, I was dancing tendance, except because how it's here in America, you can do Latin, you can do standard, and you can do tendance. So I've been doing separately and together.
Okay.
And of course, the best result I have in tendance, because I always have this joke that tendance is you're not really good in this, not really good in that, but you're good in enough good in both.
Well, right, because I feel like especially at a very high level, dancers are almost encouraged to specialize in one style or the other, and it takes a lot more time and
It's getting
practice and
harder.
preparation to do both. Yeah. So
Absolutely, yeah.
so you had your amateur dance career in Bulgaria. At what point then did you come to the United States?
So actually, it's so funny. I already stopped competing when I was 21 in Bulgaria, and I came to America when I was 25, 4 years later. And the reason we stopped dancing was, first of all, I was in university studying completely different things than dancing, because my plan always been to study we have a sport academy in Bulgaria, which is have a specialized different sports, and one of them was ballroom dancing. But the year where I supposed to get in, they annullated and they didn't have a ballroom specialty. So, and they announced this like in March, and I supposed to get in there in June, July, something like that. And I remember already I was qualifying to get in anyway because of the titles of everything, so I was easy to get in. And here we go, I ended with like this situation that there is no ballroom dancing. And of course, I'm not getting there with box or running or something else, because obviously I have zero ability about. And we also have these things in our country. If you don't get in university, you have to go to the army. So for me, it was like a moment you have to really act. So I had like a 2 or 3 months to get ready to study something, to go to any university, to be able to not go to the army, because once I get to the army, I have to totally quit dancing and competing and everything. So I was fortunate to get to the law university and study completely different from ballroom dancing. And I actually put it two specialty. I had a public administration and law. So I got in the college and the university, and I was, very fortunate to get in and prepare so fast to that high level. But in a couple of months, I realized that for me, it's completely impossible to be able to handle the university and the dancing career because I just put it too many things on my shoulders. And as well, my partner did a surgery at that time, which stopped us a little bit to took a break. And after this break, we actually never went back to the floor. And for good or bad, life is changing and you never know what's going to go. But I did study for a couple of more years, but same time I already had my studio, and with my partner we was running studio and we had a kid. And we was teaching them, traveling with them on the competition, which was a little bit easier. And when I turned 24, some at that age, I had already friends moving from Bulgaria to United States, and they say, why don't come to try to see here, life and everything. So I was like, why not? I mean, like, and just like that overnight, I put my mind and I went to apply for visa, which is one of my funniest story, which I went for visa and because wasn't able to get that easy visa to come to United States. So I apply a student visa to come for a summer to work here for 3 months, like a student work. And so I went to the interview and I didn't speak English, and the interview was in English. Like I have a zero English, and I was thinking I'm gonna learn English. I have a 2-3 months until the interview. Then past couple of weeks, I say, "Oh, I have a couple weeks. I'm gonna learn English." Then they call me and they say your interview is tomorrow. I was like, "Oh, I have to learn English by tomorrow. Great." So it was a funny story, but somehow this is one of my going back in time is moments when I'm realizing there is a things in life which meant to be. And I believe it was for me meant to be to come to United States because I really, really for that night I study answer a couple of questions, which is potential question. Doesn't mean they're gonna ask me this question, but potentially question we've been asking on the interview. And they asked me one of them, the other one I didn't understand, and the third one I guess what can be. And here you go, they give me a visa on the base of completely no English and completely lie of everything. So it's like, oh, that's fine. So I actually even didn't understand they give me visa or not until the next day when I got my passport with visa because I just didn't understand English. But they say they don't give you the passport back. That means you got visa. And he said thank you, and I say thank you, and I left. And I was like, nobody's following me with the passport. Maybe I have visa, but I did wait to the next day to figure out that I really have a visa. So it was a funny story. So that's how I moved to United States in 2005 and I started first teaching here. Teaching also it's a big word. That's how I say I didn't speak English. And I was invited by studio here, which took me, but when they find out I don't speak English, I wasn't able to do that for a couple of months until my first job was actually working in Lenique company for dresses, and I was doing stoning there. And same time, I found studio in Chinatown in New York, where English wasn't the most important thing because the owner didn't speak English as well. So it was very easy to communicate. She say body language, cha cha cha, 3 o'clock, 5 ladies, group class.
Sure.
So she gave me a chance because herself didn't speak English, and step by step between people, and I started picking up slowly until a year later, and at that I met again in life things happening that I met a person. Her name is Patricia West, and she is owner of a big studio in Orange County. 2005-6, this was the biggest studio in California. She gave me this idea because I guess I say something like I do like to do hair and makeup or something like that. I don't know in what language and how I say to her, but I guess she get it.
Sure.
So she asked our mutual friend who met me with her, and she say, "Do you want to ask your friend Boyko to come to do hair and makeup?" And to Emerald was 2006, and for me this was LA. And was interesting. Like my first association was the Hollywood.
Yeah.
That's it. I'm going to Hollywood. Not much competition, not much things, but that's how I ended to be on the first competition. And yeah, then it's history. A lot of more stories.
That's amazing. And that's an incredible partnership to kind of stumble into, and especially to then immediately be asked to go to Emerald. I mean, that's a massive competition. Was it as big as at the time that you went, or was it still growing into the Emerald that we think of now?
Uh, I think it's exactly same, and I honestly didn't know where I'm going and what I'm doing. So, this is the best things when you do things and you have no idea what you're doing. Same like with your interview, I decided I prefer to go this way. Less you know, more real the things are happening, and that's how I went in there with zero idea what I'm gonna do. But I ended after this competition. I mean, like she booked over, of course, only her studio, but they was enough. Like at that time, for me to have a 10 appointments a day, it was like a ultra busy day.
Mm.
Not now, but
Right.
actually now, let me correct myself. After COVID-19, it's again very busy day because now we're starting everything from beginning. But let's put this way: in after this competition, I felt, oh, I like to do that. It was fun. Also discovering new styles like American rhythm or American smooth. I never seen this in my life before that, and I was a little bit confused. And I can believe it now, years later. I can say this is really incredible styles, which are now getting into Europe, into Russia, into Asia. But it's like beautiful and one of the most developing style right now, and interesting to watch. I mean, like I'm really enjoying watching, especially American smooth. And I think it's very interesting style combination for people who dance and dance, for example. It's
Yeah.
like really, really good and beautiful. So yeah, it was an interesting experiment for me, or experience, or everything like was overwhelming for me at that time, because coming from small country to New York after a couple of months, making to LA, and everything to me was like such a big thing. So the question is it was big? Emerald for me was huge. I believe was already big competition at that time. I honestly, this is gonna be celebration for me in couple of months, 15 years
Wow.
since the first time I attend,
Congratulations.
and 15 years in the business. Yeah, it's again a big number getting. I'm just thinking myself, I'm not getting older, just the numbers, like it's changing.
Mhm.
But let's say I'm getting more experience.
Yeah, absolutely. What was the initial difference or challenge coming from European competitions, which we in the States kind of associate with either mixed amateur or professional level competition? There's not a pro-am division nearly as large, especially 10 years or 15 years ago, to doing hair and makeup for not only youth competitors, not only amateur competitors, not only professional competitors, but also that pro-am older division.
So it was actually a very interesting experience. First of all, let's put this way. I didn't do hair and makeup before that in Europe professionally as what I become here. I used to do for my partner or for my students. So already to do that as job that you're getting paid was a big transmission for me, number one. Second, pro-am. What is this pro-am? I wasn't able even to understand at that time. I mean, like, what is this? I mean, like, ladies in their 60s, or I have a clients in their 80s dancing with 20 years old. I mean, like, for me, was everything doesn't make zero sense. But right now, I can say this is one of the most beautiful and smart things and inspiring things to see that, because dancing to kids, it's normal. I mean, like they go from the school, they sign their mom and papa there, it's normal. Things are really, really changed, and I'm impressed, like for everything what I learned and I experienced during years. Um, and honestly, right now, first of all, actually, my first clients was pro am. Okay, if we don't count the amateur and the kids what I was working
for free back in my country, and at this experiment, not even as a job. My first real clients was Pro-Am people, and I was fortunate a couple months, a year took me to get some professionals. Yes, I do have a professionals on the first event. And funny or not, my first professional girl at this Emerald was Yuki Haraguchi. And she's dancing now. And I'm, like it's always was, I'm always going back in time and thinking, what is the biggest achievement for you, let's say, during all these years? And for me, some people are thinking that I work with the world champions. Yes, it is 100%. Because I set trends. Yes, this is also achievement for sure. I'm proud of that. But the biggest achievement is that I have this first client still today during these years, and the Yuki is sweet girl. Even I remember the last year, Emerald didn't happening, but the year before that, she gave me a little card, which is saying, I will choose you again if I have to. So it's something like the appreciation and this special person, which is the first one to staying with you for that many years, as everyone have a choice. Absolutely, I believe it. I'm giving, for example, her because she was the first, but each person who come to me during these years and staying with me, this is what really make you feel like, yes, I'm doing something right. I'm, like, I didn't lose it yet, so these kind of things. But yeah, interesting journey, definitely. Long with many up and downs and changes and learning. How I say, I wasn't prepared for what I'm gonna do. I didn't have idea what I'm doing. I didn't know many things, like how I stay from the Pro-Am. I didn't know what is American Smooth. I didn't know nothing. Honestly, I dip and I jump in the water with idea that I'm going to Hollywood. That was in my mind, LA, Hollywood sign, stars. And I was imagining they're walking everywhere and I'm going to meet everyone. No, I just was a completely different thing. So it was the reality, but I found something. I found my passion. I found something that I loved without to understand. Something what I have it in me without know. As how I say, I was studying for a lawyer. I used to be a dancer. In the high school, I used to study chemistry. So it's like completely different things. And here, yes, I did have experience over my partner and my students. I did have experience in a hair salon. I cannot say even I've been working there. I was just assisting, or the right word I can use. I was cleaning the salon. And I was watching how the other people work, and I was interesting. And this was maybe for a year I have this experience, and not like a regular job. I was going just because I met a friend who owned this salon, and she lost her assistant, so I was helping her, but like even not job, like wasn't even officially saying I'm working there. Sure. I was just like, wherever I want to go, I go, and when I go, I help. If I can help, I clean. Wherever, if I want to go, I go. So. I even cannot say I have experience on that, but definitely I did have always this passion about beauty, not only for hair and makeup, but in general beauty. And even today, I love beautiful things. I love beautiful people. I love creating not only hairstyles. I like, for example, even decoration of apartment. I really enjoy to do that. I like organizing beautiful events. This is also something what I have it. I like even styling, to style dressing myself or somebody else. I used to do the dress for my partner. So even now, for example, when I work with some of the girls on the base of the hair, for example, I can give them idea what I would like to see on a costume, not design their costume, but like give a direction. Let's say I would like to do this hair, but for this hair I will need a, let's say, ruffle skirt or colors or something, So I always been, I guess, inside of me, I have this creativity about beauty in a different levels and different styles. But here is the things what bring me out of, and specifies me now as Boyko,
Yeah. So I want to talk a little bit more about that idea of I don't want to necessarily say loyalty, but returning to the same vendors and the same people year after year after year after year. You mentioned that Yuki coming back year after year after year is like your pride and kind of mark of accomplishment. We've mentioned on the podcast with previous guests that for dancers, when we find a shoe that we like, we always buy that same shoe. Or if we find a dressmaker that is able to style the dress to fit our body properly, we want to go back. I think hair and makeup is kind of that final touch that brings the whole package together, and really great hair and makeup can make such a huge difference to not only how we view the dancer on the floor, how judges and other dancers look at that person, but also to the dancer that's wearing that hair and makeup. It can be that like shield or that like piece of armor that just brings it all together to be like, okay, I'm ready to step out on the dance floor. So when you're working with a new client for the first time, what kind of consultation process do you go through? How do you create either a look or a signature look for a dancer to make sure that that client walks out of the chair and is like, yes, I am ready to take on the day?
Okay, so this is very good. I have a very controversial opinion about all of that. Let's say because you say many things, which may take my thoughts different ways, but let's concentrate now over the first time client. Yeah.
Yes.
This is every time for me is this, during the years I got this experience and find my way to deal with the situation. Because when people come for first time, they're expecting, here I am the guru, and she's gonna turn to Yulia Zagorchenko, for example. But working with Yulia Zagorchenko or Yuki Haraguchi or Katyusha Demidova or Dasha with this all top dancer, it wasn't the first time. Yes, definitely the first time we click, so they'll continue coming. But wasn't created this divas from one time. So people sometimes expecting the name Boyko connected with these top dancers to do that magic. And these expectations sometimes can really kill it, creativity or whatever, because then you feel the pressure. Or I have a different situation. Somebody is like very happy to see me. Somebody is very respectful when see it first time, like I can see the fear from me. And I'm like, I'm not that scary, maybe the name make this, but I'm a human being. I'm very happy to be here. Or the other things is their curiosity is like checking, is he that good? I mean, like what they say. So this first meeting is always very interesting. So I find my way because I have to say I'm a human being. I have to react to the moment and I have to deliver because the name is there. So I have to work to keep up with this name. So I have to make sure this client is coming second time. So I have a same phrase for the first time people when I meet them, no matter their first ever competition or their top dancers. If they're first time coming to me because I always say communication is one of the most important things, especially in the creativity or imagination. I can compare this to the movie and book. Yeah, when you read the book, you're using your imagination and your vision about words. When you're watching same story on the movie and it's not matching your imagination, you're like, oh, you're so disappointed. Why are you disappointed? You shouldn't be, because the movie is the imagination of somebody else who created and put it a vision for you. Yeah. So it's the same with with me. When they come, I want to get it and read it as much I can, their imagination, their vision. But to be able to get that, we have to communicate. So I start always with the same sentence. What you like, and actually my question is more what you don't like. So I stay away from that.
Yeah.
So from there, I'm starting every first timer appointment, and then I'm letting people talk. And I can see already after the first sentence, these people with the answer, they have an opinion, they have a vision, or they have a zero vision. So from this is the point where I can get over them with the next question. So I can minimalize them, do not, because sometimes people can get lost, in the question, and started saying, oh, I want to Julius this part, but then I want to Katyusha this part, and then I see the curves of this part, and actually let me show it from Instagram this picture, and then but I don't like this picture. And so I'm trying to keep them, to get as much as possible, because also the part of my work is timing, and I have a between 20 and 30 minutes appointment time. Most of the time, let's say it's 20 minutes. So I always try to be in this frame of 20 minutes. So if I have to keep it in control, the first 2-3 minutes to start the direction, the next, during already starting preparing the idea style, the next 3-4 minutes to clarify the idea so I can deliver in 20 minutes something what is somewhere there and you're comfortable with that, and you're gonna, how you say, this is the final touch. One of the most important things for a woman, I always say, but I have a controversial opinion about that. Yes, I know how important it is, and I know can change the world, and you can die if your eyelashes is not right. But same time, I always say to my clients, they shouldn't think this way, because somewhere people are dying from sickness, or they have nothing to eat, or and their eyelashes will not change the world, will not save no one, and the elephants in Africa still is going to die. So that's what they say, have very controversial. So I'm trying to give it to people also in this appointment time, this feeling about how important it is to feel beautiful, and 99% working with the people. We have so much beauty in our industry that people don't realize, because if you go to regular other convention, just sit on the airport and look around, just you understand how beautiful is the dance world. I mean, almost every woman, every man, it's in shape, even if it's not the perfect shape. It's not like a regular people, and also we have this opportunity to living a fantasy life, to dress up, to do hair, makeup, beautiful sparkly dresses, dancing with the Prince Charming, even special now in the COVID time, coming back to work after all this timing that people die, people get sick, people lost someone, and we're still back to do these beautiful things, so we're fortunate in so many ways. So I'm trying to give this to the people, this feeling that yes, it's important, your eyelashes, but not the most important. It's a feeling what I'm gonna give you on the floor to feel like a queen. But if your lip color is not pinkish enough, it's fine. It's touchable, it's washable, everything is changeable, it's all good. It's not a tattoo, it's not a plastic surgery. We can fix it, and we can work together. But again, on the end of the day, beauty, I can give you the final touch, but you are inside. You have to project your sex appeal, you have to project your beauty. So we can work together, and I'm trying with the communication as much as I can. So I'm a person, even now, you can see I talk a lot. I like to talk a lot with the people, and I love to listen to them, because also talking myself doesn't solve problems or giving directions. So I like to listen also to people. So I'm giving chance to people to tell me their story, their imagination, their fantasy even. So we can somewhere there match what they see and my creativity and make something together.
Yeah. So I want to touch on something that you mentioned, because I feel like there are these two conflicting ideas in the ballroom community, which is the first, it is a beautiful sport, dresses, the athleticism, people are fit, the hair is perfect, the makeup is perfect, we all tan, the dress is created in such a way, the suits are tailored in such a way to create this image of, Cinderella and Prince Charming. But at the same time, all of us in the industry are trying to push towards love yourself, respect yourself, find your inner beauty. You are your own queen. You are your own king. You know, especially within Pro-Am, most of my clients are Pro-Am students. They have lived experience. They have had children, or they've had hip replacements, or, you know, they aren't that cookie cutter image of what a ballroom dancer should be. So are we being hypocritical when we are pushing for an aesthetic look, but also trying to encourage people to love themselves at whatever size, shape, style they are in? And how do you see the intersection between those two coming together?
So this is the fine agehood. I really like your question, because let's start from this way. When I work with these people, how you say, every age, every shape. Again, we have a still very good base. It's not the worst. 90%. Nothing is 100%. But yes, so that's the secret, what I was talking about, communication with these people. And for example, yeah, you got person, let's say, what is most popular hairstyle for ballroom dancing? Middle part, slick, low bun.
Mm-hmm.
Did everyone on every age and every shape look like this, good like this? No. Do we have to push the people? Like, say, for example, sometimes I'm just dying laughing when the teacher send it, the student, and is sending a picture of, let's say, how I say, I'm using these big names, Yulia or Katyusha, and want her to look like that. And I'm looking this person, and first of all, she have a different type of hair. Second, her face is different shape. Third, her body is different shape. Fourth, did you really teach her to dance like Yulia Zagorchenko? No. Fifth, is this person is gonna feel comfortable in this hairstyle? No. So, and then I can see the fear in the eyes, you know? And I don't like slick hair. I don't, like, yes, honey, I totally understand. And I know, and we don't have to. The idea is like, that's why I'm asking the question, what you don't like it. Don't tell me what your teachers say. Don't tell me what you see on Instagram. Because also sometimes there is a different problem. We seeing pictures of somebody and we are, even forget about it, we decide that we're gonna look like that. No, we can't,
Mm-hmm.
I have myself this experience. I bleached my hair blonde and I was thinking that I look like a Chris Brown, but in reality, I look like a German gay porn star. So it was really, honestly, again, I'm seeing a picture and I'm thinking, no, I'm not, but I realized this couple days later. So I don't want people to realize this couple of days later. So that's why it's my point of communication. We have to find how we love ourselves. And if the client come to me the first time, mostly we're talking about the first time is the most interesting communication. And it's a lady in a little bit older division. And she doesn't feel comfortable without her bangs, yeah? Or without slick hair. So yes, maybe the first time I will not create for her the best ballroom style. Of course, I will not let her go out of my room looking like she's going to her prom or she's going to completely different to her wedding, because she feel comfortable. But I will try to make something between the ballroom, maybe not completely ballroom, but still to have a proper look, but far away from what her teacher, for example, or far away from what Yulia look. But I want her with a little bit bangs, with a little bit extra volume. Something maybe is not perfectly there, but is still in this frame of ballroom dancer until this person, and also the experience. I mean, like, I'm sure you're a teacher and you see the first lesson, the second lesson, 20th lesson, 50th lesson, the first competition, the sixth competition, we started accepting things, or we are getting ability to do things which we wasn't able to do the first time.
Mm-hmm.
So it's same with the look, you know.
Yeah.
I have a clients which come the first time and say, no tanning, no eyelashes, no this, no that. And then it's coming already 5th, 6th or 20th competition, and here you go, there is like, she's coming with feather eyelashes already. And I'm like, okay, stop, honey. You know, remember the time you didn't want anything, now you're really too much, you know, like,
Yeah.
So, but they are growing in a look the way they grow as dancers. Same is with the kids, from the first competition to the amateurs. Even, for example, with kids, it's a little bit different experience. There is the mothers and the mother's imagination. This is a different subject. Also, you have to control sometimes because it's out of control usually. And also, I believe everything have to be the secret in life in general, not only ballroom dancing. It's a balance. I find out after many years, it's to find this balance between what you have or what you can have it or what you don't have it. So I'll give you an example of balance as dancer. Yeah, if you're ultra talented but you're lazy, it doesn't make you a great dancer. You have to have a balance, everything and the right amount, because if you have a even super hard working but like a zero talent will not make it. Same with the look. You go on the floor, and if you look perfection, you really look perfection. You step, your dress, bending, everything is so good, but then you really cannot dance. It's such a disappointment. Same is opposite. If you're a great dancer, but you come on the floor and you're a mess, same disappointment. So you have to find the balance of different stage of your life, whatever is, you know, how I say it. So I'm not talking only dancing and look, like a laugh, a career, everything. Where are you? What you needed for that? Don't rush to get it on the top, let's say the most expensive dress when you're barely walking cha-cha-cha, you know, or you are out of music. But when you are a really good dancer, don't expect people to forgive you if you didn't then you have a spots of your legs. People is gonna point and say, you're a great dancer. But honey, use a sponge and make a tanning, you know, like go wash yourself. So you have to find the balance on a different point of your career as dancer or whatever in life, and see what is the best for you at this point.
Yeah.
So same with how you say the students, the amateurs, the teachers, and everyone. We have to see what is on this point, what stage we are, where we can push it. You know, like what is the next things to develop? It's going to be our look. It's going to be our technique. It's going to be our partnership. You know, and a life is forever developing. I remember the first time I did for Yuki Harris, and I remember today, even today, my people asking me, my clients usually they love to ask me, how you got here, who teach you? I'm like, my answer is always saying, honey, I'm still learning on you now, you know, have a seat because I have to continue practicing. And the new things are coming now on you because I don't know how to do that. You know, you maybe you're going to inspire me, or now I'm going to see something I would try, but I'm going to practice right now and I'm going to continue develop right now on you. It does nobody teach me. And okay, the experience is one thing, but every new step, how I can know it's going to work or no if I don't try. So it's interesting in general.
I love that idea of forever being a student, because I think it just opens up the door to so many new experiences and so much creativity, and just it keeps you open to new information. How do you balance wanting to seek out your own creativity and express yourself through hair and also the norms and the expectations that we're setting every single year in the industry? Because to expand a little bit on that, we've spoken in the past about the idea of dancers looking at routines and technique and styling on the top 6 of the podium and then trying to copy that or trying to replicate that, and not necessarily wanting to step out on their own and say, okay, this is my personal style. We're all kind of funneling into, this is what's winning, so that's how we're training and that's how we're teaching. And it becomes very much a copy of a copy of a copy at certain points. So I imagine it's very similar with the hair. You know, everyone has the Instagram up and they can search through hashtag ballroom hair and see what was on the podium for the last 5 years. How do you balance kind of that expectation of what's winning and what works for you, what works for your client, and what allows you to find creativity and artistry on the day?
So the secret, what is winning, it's not about the hair, makeup, or like the dress. Okay, that's my experience. The people who got there and they're champions for a reason. Not because today you see them eating pizza, and doesn't mean eating pizza is gonna bring you to the hair place. Not because today her ponytail is longer than other people, and that's is a champion because she have a longer ponytail. So this is even not a subject for me, but it is a trend. It is fact that every beginning dancer is copying somebody.
Mm-hmm.
This is okay. We're talking about, again, controversial conversation. Yes, all the beginners, all the pro-am, all the amateurs are looking to the top girls, and they're how we people in the industry, dressmakers or hair and makeup maker or whatever, people who are creating this image, because beginners or upgrowing people are not seeing what is inside. They don't see how much they practice. They don't see these things. They see the final problem. They see that she point with her finger his nose,
Yep.
So, but until she got to this finger, what they see it actually, they didn't see how she worked with her core and where she stepped and where is her balance. Yeah.
Yep.
So people don't see. So we are, first of all, naturally, we are copying the packaging of movement, of look, of whatever is it. Yeah. This is the easiest to copy. And that's how we're growing. And as stylists or seeing a work of some coaches, this is the shortcut to the some result. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So if we put it clean, nice look, hair, makeup, like Dasha, for example, yeah, and we have a point in his nose, and then we have a 7 good position during our routines, it's gonna bring us forward. Yes, will, to the certain point in our career, their career, that the package, we are all buyers. Judges are package, judges are buyers, audience is buyers. Yeah. So we all have this minute and a half, even myself, to go towards the competition, and it's the first impression. Look, movement, like lines, everything. But then we have a chance to see these couples or dancer many times. And if there is no development of this whatever look or this dancing, we already seeing that we bought the package, but we open the box and inside is empty. So we have to keep developing and filling up. Same is with the look. People like to copy, but then in a time, I'll give you, actually, let's get example. Dasha Chesnakova, yeah?
Mhm.
Girl which is right on a moment of her career to become the next world champion. Not yet. COVID is not helping at all, but let's say she is the next world champion. I have the opportunity to work with Yulia Zagorchenko from the last competition of her, when she danced for the last time with her ex-partner Max Puzhevnikov. This was the last competition of them together, and the first competition, they become United States champion. Shortly after, they split, and she started dancing with Ricardo Cocchi. That's how she started her career. And this couple was fortunate, immediately got to the second place in the world and make impossible things to beat the current champions. And there was a game back and forth and everything, and to achieve 10-time world champion. So I've been with her from all this career, yeah. So let's say with her was a little bit kind of product which is almost on the edge to be champion, yeah. Like she was immediately second. So I've been through with her, like she's the top, she's the face of it. But Dasha is the other girl which I start working when she come to United States, dancing with Vaucher Markovsky, amateur girl. And I noticed her on this Blackpool when I was with Yuri already, and I was working there. And there was already supposed to be like a top couple in the United States, and they didn't make it even 24 in amateur at this competition. So the difference between Yulia and Dasha is like one of them already was a champion, close to be a champion, vice champion and champion. So already whatever I do there is, I know it's something material to be copied. It's a trend which is gonna, like be. And Dasha is opposite. She's an amateur girl, similar time, and she wanna be champion. She wanna be a big girl. She wanna make in the semifinal. She wanna make in a final, And I will never forget Dasha was coming to me and saying, I wanna bun like a Karina. You see this shape. It's a little bit bigger. It's a little bit smaller. And I will never forget this conversation with her when we talk about, I was like, I'm tired already to listen. I want to like this or like that. Listen to me. One day people will want to be Dasha. And you're growing, and because she already was getting in the finals, and then she started dancing with Di Filippo. But she always been very like a straight mind, like she have idea and this is her idea, and like it's no flexibility. If we compare to Yulia, which I was able like a canvas to paint on it, Dasha was always very, like I want a middle part and whatever. So there come one time this event was a team match in Blackpool, and I was working with all American girls, and we decide to create a look, which, for example, we're gonna have something similar because it's a team. We have to have not same style, to not be like everybody copy, but like detail which we're gonna do in 4 different hairstyles. And I decided it's gonna be this twist. And I say, for example, Yulia is gonna be twist with ponytail. Katyusha is gonna be twist with high bun. Anastasia is gonna be twist with low bun because it's standard. They have to be in a bun. So for Dasha, there's no choice. She have to be with the twist, and I cannot create nothing different because there's kind of, like certain things you have to do. So loose hair twist. And she was like, no, loose hair. I don't know. Blah, blah, blah. I was like, listen, you have no choice. That's the style left over for you. You're going to do it. And in a way, I convinced her, and here go this style. Then after after the competition, after the show or whatever team match, she said, I feel so feminine and different with loose hair. I never danced with loose hair before that. It's like I feel sexy, and actually this is one of the very how to say, it's like her signature sex appeal, because every dancer have a different aura, different abilities, different things about them. So Dasha is one of her biggest plus, which she have it, and nobody teach her. She have a sex appeal. So here you go. We let the hair down, and she felt that this is even more than before. So this has become one of the most copied style. Which even going back in the career, I have done same things for Yulia, but people didn't notice on her. And she bring it, she make it one of the, I mean, like how I say, one of the most copied style I have in my work done. So yeah, it's very interesting to see the dancers and how this is, like what can bring out of them. The style, copy, creating themselves from be copy of somebody else to find what they are. And right now, for example, Dasha's next champion, I was chatting actually with her yesterday, as we're missing the competition, we're missing our creativity. And as Yulia already is retired, she is the new face of Latin American until we go back everyone to the competition. Yeah. I hope everything is going to stay this way and will not change. And I say, Dasha, I'm so excited. And as everybody know that I work with many of the top dancers, but like Yulia and Katyusha used to be the faces of my company, the girls next to both my site and, my muse, my canvas for creating. So when Yulia decided to retire and they step out, I talk to Dasha and I say, do you mind if you become the face of the company and I have some new product done? I would like you to be. And she was very happy, of course, and everything. So I do have in my mind so many, for example, during even quarantine time, inspiration and ideas. I just cannot wait to put it on her. And that's what I was telling her yesterday. She said, I hope to see you soon, and I hope we're going to have a competition soon, because in America, we're kind of like that. We have already running something. In Europe, is still nothing, And I don't want to be negative, but I'm not seeing Blackpool this year at all. And I am praying for international, but if I have to be realistic, I think most really what I'm seeing maybe is going to be UK in January next year. So this is, again, I would love to get earlier for this dancer to be able to perform, because I know how is to live without inspiration, without motivation, and competition and shows is that's what is moving us, performers, to perform what we can do. So yeah, I was telling her yesterday that I have so many ideas of the new Dasha, but same time to keep it the Dasha, herself, because during work with her 10 years, I do know what she is comfortable and how I can bring out of her comfort zone and develop the new personality for her and work with her trust, because how I say it's communication between me and her. It's not just only my decision. I decided, sit down, you're going to be blonde today. No, she have to feel it. So I know her. So that's what it's like things. I think it's a normal process, most common. We have, of course, always have exception. It's like we first trying to copy something until we find ourselves and we become a trend setter. And there is the people who are mostly becoming trendsetter. Of course, once you are bigger in the ranking, you are more, they have more people following you and these kind of things. But I can tell you a little, there is always exception. And I can give you an example of the photo shoot I did it 2 years ago in England. And this was because how I say, always been Katyusha and Yulia next to me. But I do work with way more top girls. And I decide, and how I say, I also can be inspired from different things. And I decided to do this photo shoot for Blackpool magazine, which I call Celebration of Beauty. And for me, the inspiration was a couple of things. One was Game of Thrones. Beauty. Power of the beauty. Because I do believe beauty is a very powerful thing. Because if we know how to use our beauty, we can be really, really powerful. Because first things, wherever we go, and we don't know, and people don't know us what we see, how we look, what we're projecting. So beauty can really take us if we know. So this is the other sentence I would say is, beauty is a very dangerous power. And if you know how to use it, you really can make it even in the dance floor, like in general. So my idea, this was like a beauty, power, also the secret dinner of the Jesus with, with the 12 apostles, like, so I have this, like every artist, mix of things, which I got for inspiration. And I create this photo shoot, which I put it, how I call celebration of beauty, like feast of beauty. The idea was to be a table with all this beauty and celebrate the beauty. And I have a very interesting experience about it, because when I work with people, I work one-on-one, me and you, just two of us. So it's about you. But after you leave, is coming the next person, but you are not seeing, it's not anymore about you. So you're living with the impression you're the one. And I am switching immediately without even, I don't feel I cheat to the next person, with the next person. I'm just moving on and creating the next product, the next creation, next inspiration is the next project for me. So sometimes people are thinking, do you have a favor? No, I don't. Everyone have a different influence to me and to act. And when I go to support the girls, I feel every single inside of my heart. And when they are doing well or they're not doing well, I have the happiness or sadness for everyone. It's not like because I like, yes, some of the people bring from me more creativity and I create more different things. The other people not, but doesn't mean the one who I create more on them or do different styles, it's more favorite. No, it's not my favorite. Just this person somehow bring the different side of me. So I put all these girls together, and it was very interesting to see this Game of Thrones, to put all this beauty around and create this picture. I didn't know what I'm getting into, but when I put them together, it was a little overwhelming to me, because there wasn't one-on-one. And then the size of the crown of this one was bigger than the other one. And why her crown is bigger than mine, so it's very interesting, but definitely it's a good to see the product, these top girls or whatever these beauties. And when I choose of course top girls, but I choose one of the girls, maybe people doesn't know her as ranking. She's not that bad in ranking. She's in a top 12, 24, somewhere there. But for me, she always been fashion icon, so she is been always outstanding as look she bring from me, and she bring from different designers helping her. She give us different energy. She is outstanding as look. Maybe she's not the best point foot, whatever, she's not the top girl, but she's definitely statement. So that's what, back to your question about copying and creating. We have to find, every person have to, even myself as artist, I have to find who I am, because there is a many other vendors like me, and they have it there. So also to keeping up myself to the standards with the time, do not become copy of somebody else. I already know where is my style, and I'm trying to develop, but keeping myself to be boy. But everything need the inspiration, everything need development. And it's very hard to develop yourself, not only as dancer, a stylist, or wherever you are. So I do have my team, and what I want from them is I don't teach them what to do. I let them do their creativity, and I'm trying to see in all of them what kind of talents and what I envision they have it, and just to put my signature there, but do not take away from what they can do it. I don't want to show them this is what I did it, do it. No, do what you like it, but I would like, let's say, for example, to have this image and keep it clean or whatever that, or so things about me, which I created as a brand and my name put it, but do not kill them. Do not stop them of their creativity, because every person, every dancer, every human being has something inside which can offer, and do not be copy if we are able to let it go. Until, of course, the other option is we are trying to be copy of someone. But no matter what, we're coming out of our shell early or late. So earlier we come out better.
I love that. I love that. I appreciate the fact that you brought up your team, and I know we're running a little bit over. But I do want to just briefly talk about the fact that it's not just Boyko behind Boyko and Co. There is a team of makeup and hair artists. And I appreciate the fact that you are encouraging their creativity and you want each of your team members to kind of find their own style and their own voice and kind of take control of that. How then do you see the brand Boyko and Co. Through all of those different creative lenses? Is it the quality of the product? Is it the interaction with the client that's the branding? How do you kind of see the consistency across all of your stylists?
So go back to what I said before that.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, first of all, let's clarify. Boyko, I am the face. That's all. I'm the first who started that. But Boyko is been forgotten a long time ago, as now it's Boyko and Co. And Co, it's way bigger than Boyko. I still can maintain my face on the front, but all that is because of the people who is next to me, which I am very, very fortunate to have the right people. And I do appreciate every single person of them and personality and creativity and every influence they have it, from my assistant who is far away from being creative to communication with the clients to the every stylist who have a different pluses and minuses. And I just, like I was, how I say, very lucky to have these people and inspire each other and moving forward and support each other, because we as human beings, we have a certain ability. We can always grow. We can continue growing, but can we catch up with the speed of growing and the changes of the world? Because the world is changing very fast now. Everything is, even watching kids, how they're growing up, everything is completely different. So every of my stylists is a very important part of the image of Boyko. And how I say, I'm very thankful about that. What is making Boyko and Co special? Going back to the before, balance. I'm trying, how I say, I find the balance is the secret of many things in life. And I'm trying to balance it, how we say, to have a creativity, to stay loyal to what we can do, we can provide. Timing, very important. When clients, they have to rely on us, the timing, because if we are not on time, they cannot be on time, they cannot, and stress-free. The other things, what I always try to create in the room where I work with people and people with my team, when the clients come, is the place where they can have a fun. We're gonna laugh, we're gonna create, and then they're gonna go because performing, it's stress. And when you go and expose yourself on the floor, you're stressed for sure. I am stressed sometimes, but this is nobody's business. So I'm trying always to keep myself calm and smile and make a joke, even if the most stress inside something. And it's happening to me as well. I just don't show. So that's what's the other things I always try to want my team to have it stress-free. And of course, we have to keep up the quality. And we're working hard on it. Even the worst things we do, the worst things, because we're human beings. Sometimes maybe we're not producing the 100%, but we always have to be, the worst have to be in a certain good quality. Maybe it's not the top quality, but cannot be bad. Have to be still decent, have to look right, have to look clean. So we're trying these things, I'm trying myself and I'm trying, and I can see all my team is trying, which is maybe this is part of the Boyko and Co signature, when people can rely on these things.
Excellent. Excellent. Well, competitions have, like you mentioned, have started back up in the United States. I was looking at your website earlier and it looks like you have 6 competitions in the month of March. There's only 4 weekends in the month of March, so you guys are super busy, which is excellent.
Yeah.
Hopefully that continues.
I mean, like, it's not like before. We are coming back. Unfortunately, we cannot plan the year as we before, because I used to plan the year from December already. Now we have a new way of doing the things. We are, like planning 2 months in advance. The way we used to do booking, we have the year planned, but we'll open the booking 2 months in advance. So now that's what we do. We just open the booking to what we think is possible, because even organizer doesn't know. But I am very thankful. Slowly we're going back, and people are feeling more comfortable, and they're coming out from home, and this stress what been in us, in all of us. So people are coming out, and we're trying. This is the other things now with the new things what we have to do in my team, to make sure people, when they arrive to an appointment, they feel safe as much. We can bring as much as possible safe, because we're safety as we are doing something which is actually one of the most dangerous in a way to get the virus or something like that. So we are trying to provide as possible. I cannot say it is, that's guaranteed. You cannot but we are doing our best to provide as most as possible safe the environment for the situation. And after every competition, this last year, I have a one goal. If it's because obviously we have experience to deliver good hair and makeup and confidence, whatever, all of it. My new goal for the last year is, if one of my clients, each of my clients leave the chair and can get home and tell their friend that they felt safe and they was able to dance and they make what they love, and this other person is home locked still and is afraid to go out, go back to the dance studio and take a one lesson only and feel back like a normal person, that's mean I did my job well. So we have different things now, and I hope we're all in the industry, we're going to work towards this, because I know what is to be afraid, and I wish every teacher, every organizer, every vendor to make sure that we people who are going out, we can show that we will be okay. Yes, the virus is there. We just have to adapt to the situation, and we have to make the best of it and do what we love, because dancing is giving us happiness. Dancing is bringing us to our fantasy world, and we need a fantasy more than ever right now.
Definitely. Well, thank you so much, Boyko, for being a guest on today's episode. Anything that you want to leave our listeners with before we end the episode today?
One tip, guys, keep dancing. How I say, this is our fantasy world. Let's live in a fantasy and be happy.
Excellent. Well, thank you so much.
Thank you for having me, guys.
Thank you again to Boyko for being a guest on today's podcast. If you would like to follow along with the hair and makeup creations of Boyko and Co, or if you want to sign up to set an appointment of your own for an upcoming event, you can do so using the links in the description box below. As always, I'm Samantha. I'm your host with Love.Live.Dance. You can find all of the podcast versions of these episodes at ballroomchat.com, and you can follow us across social media at Ballroom Chat. If you've not already done so, please make sure that you do give us a thumbs up and hit the subscribe button if you are not already subscribed. We are so close to hitting the 100 subscriber mark, which I know sounds very small, but that will allow us to get a custom URL for our YouTube page, which has been our goal from the beginning. So if you have not already subscribed, take this as your opportunity to do so. As always, stay safe, stay positive, and we hope to see you dancing very soon.